Hey guys, my name is Rita and welcome to my channel. I have a few winter videos that I still have to post, which are calendar unboxings. I mean, I hope you still want to see them because they're most likely gonna come in February. But I have received this today, and because I couldn't wait to try it on, I decided to record the video today and I'm gonna post it before the other videos come. So yes, technically this is the first video of 2024 and I apologize for not having been too consistent with my channel as of late. The next 6 months are gonna be super chaotic in terms of personal life, so I'm gonna do my best to upload as regularly as I possibly can, but please excuse me whenever I skip an upload. It's just gonna take a while for things to stabilize. But none of that matters because today we are doing a video with the SHEGLAM Amber Rose collection. First of all, you guys, this is probably the best PR package that SHEGLAM has ever come out with, and I'll show you why. So as you can see, this is the box, and there's a little picture in the front. But then on the side there's a button, and when you push it, it lights up. Like, it legit just looks like a fireplace. Here's a close-up of it on. Honestly, they really outdid themselves with this packaging. I have no idea how much battery this has, but it is pretty potent, as you can see. Obviously, packaging doesn't mean anything. What matters is if the products are good, so that's what we have to figure out. Now, apparently this whole thing is supposed to cost 60 euros. It is actually the most expensive collection that SHEGLAM has ever done. But it was 23% off when I bought it, and then there was a discount code for an additional 10 euros off, which means that I only ended up paying 42.65. So you know, that's a pretty good savings. I've never seen a makeup company offer that big of a discount, so I mean, this is just so fun to look at. It's probably why it's more expensive, because they actually just made this extra part. I don't know. But yeah, packaging is 10 out of 10 for me. Let's see how it looks like inside. As usual, on the back it has information about everything that's inside. So here's what the collection looks like on the inside. Here's 3 blushes, a color palette, 4 liquid lipsticks, 4 lipsticks, and an enchanted plaster rose, which I don't know what this is, to be honest. So this is the first thing we're gonna look into because I want to know what it is. I'm very curious. Oh, okay, this is so cute. SHEGLAM, it's the little things. You can say whatever you want about them. Their presentation is always just spot on. They do it all for so cheap, which is why I just keep buying their collections to review for you. So this is actually just a rose, and I'm pretty sure this is like ceramic. Maybe not ceramic, maybe this is some sort of cement. I have no idea what materials are. Like, I don't do pottery, I don't know what this is, but it feels like the material of, you know, one of those vases to put your flowers in, which means that it literally just sits in place. And I'm gonna put this on my shelf because it's so pretty and it's a cute decoration. But what you're here for is the makeup, so it's time to find out if it's good. Firstly, let's take a look at the blushes. Here's the packaging up front. There's 3 and all of them look like this, but there's a different shade on the back. And this first one is the shade Love Language. Here it is up close. It's actually just like a rosy brown. That's how I would best describe it. The box itself feels quite sturdy. It's a tin. It's lightweight, but it's not cheaply made or anything. Like, I'm not actually scared that I'm gonna break this, so it's a good thing. I'm gonna swatch this shade and I'm gonna do it in this area because I'm currently having an eczema rash. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is actually a powder to cream formula. As soon as I swatched it, it started melting on my finger. It really doesn't look it on the tin, but it's actually quite cool. Here's a swatch of this, and this is so freaky. The more I rub, the more it gets powdery. It's no longer cream again. Here it is somewhat blended out. I'm actually curious to find out how it actually works on the skin because I've never worked with a formula like this. It's like a 2-in-1 because it isn't, then it is, then it isn't. Don't know, but I'm excited to try this. Next up, we have the shade I'm Yours. This one is just a straight up rosy pink. Definitely seems lighter than the first one. I think I picked a bad day to wear a white shirt. But yeah, this is what it looks like blended out. It's very pretty. All of these dry down too, as opposed to cream, because cream usually stays like ever so slightly tacky, but these ones just feel like powder. And lastly, we have the shade Soulmate. Here it is. It's definitely the deepest of the 3. These seem like the type of formula that's best applied with a sponge, but we'll see. Next up, let's take a look at the palette. So here's what the packaging looks like, and this little thing here is actually a seal, like someone actually stamped a seal on here. It does give this an old-fashioned vibe. They actually had to put a caution that says, for external use only. I have no idea what people tried to do with this. They felt like they needed to put a warning. I don't know. So this isn't actually a normal palette because besides this being like itty bitty tiny, it doesn't open like a regular palette. It actually unfolds. It has 4 shades and they're all satin. Not totally matte, definitely not a shimmer. The packaging itself is also very cool. And the magnets are very strong. You can definitely hear them when they close. There isn't much you can do with this, but again, I love the aesthetic. They actually came out with something new that I've never seen before in a palette design. Kind of wish there was a shimmer in here, but you know me, I'm a shimmer girl. I can't not complain about there not being any shimmers. Not every look needs to have a shimmer, and I need to calm down. This shade here was actually the creamiest in comparison to the others. The others are definitely more powdery, but they all seemed creamy and they all applied really easily. With satins, you usually get the best of both worlds because they're not totally matte, and they also tend to blend easier because they're mixed with shimmers. Overall, it seems like a good formula, but we will figure it out once we try it. And now let's move on to the most extensive part, the lipsticks. The shape of them is actually something I haven't seen before either in lipsticks. It is so cool. I don't know if you can tell like this, but they're not actually round. They have a very abstract shape. It's not actually a shape, it's like it has no shape. The packaging fades from red to black in the center and it's just so cool. Honestly, these are the coolest lipsticks I've seen in a while. This first one is a shade called Passion. There's a swatch of it. Don't mind my arm because the shadows just really stained it, but color-wise, I do really like this shade. This, again, feels like a satin formula. It's not totally gonna dry down, but it actually doesn't have any sheen either. It has an ever so slight sheen, but nothing that would be considered shiny. Next up, we have the shade Cherish You. This one is rosier and also darker than the first shade. Thankfully, they're not too close, but they're definitely in the same family. Also a shade that I wear regularly. It's a burgundy red, and it definitely takes some building up, but we can get it there. It definitely fits this collection. And lastly, we have the shade Bliss. This one doesn't have a lot of rose to it, but it definitely ties together with all of them. I feel like even the burgundy one makes sense for this collection. So I'm very happy with the selection that they picked for us. All of these just make sense. And finally, let's take a look at the liquid lipsticks. The packaging of these is also really cool, even though it's not an odd shape. As you can see, it's quite round. It still has the same ombre, but done backwards, and you can see the color of the lipstick on this end. And it just says SHEGLAM and Ember Rose on the bottle. This first one is the shade Amor. Amor is Portuguese for love, and I don't know if there's any other language that uses amor. I don't know, it's Portuguese to me and it's kind of cool to see a Portuguese name on a lipstick. So this one is actually a gloss formula. So they're liquid glosses. This is a very pretty shade. I would say that it's in between these two. It almost looks like this one, but it has a little bit of this one too. Very wearable. This one is the shade Unconditional. This one is a rosy tone and it's slightly less cool than this lipstick right here. This one is in the shade Everlasting. Oh my god, this color. This is what I would describe as a blood red. It literally looks like blood, but it's just so pretty. I want this on my lips. I feel like it would be so messy, but I really love this shade. And lastly, we have the shade Treasure. This shade is more of a brick red, but it's equally as pretty. Every single color that's in here I would wear, so I consider that a win considering that I spent money on these. But yes, that's everything in the collection. I'm gonna take the swatches off my arm so that it doesn't get my shirt dirty, and I'll be right back to try them on. So for the eyes, I'm gonna keep it quite simple because literally there's not much you can do with these. I'm gonna start with this shade down here, which is called Fine Mine. I'm pretty sure, like, I cannot really read the inscriptions on these. I'm gonna run it through my crease, keeping it somewhat low. This shade is very pigmented. I only took a little bit, but it was enough. I'm just blending it out. I'm gonna add it in the center of my eyelid as well. On the inner corner, I'm taking the shade Heartbeat. It doesn't need to be precise because this is not a very pigmented shade, so I'm not worried. And I really Want to disperse it for a little pop of color. It does just make the area of wherever you apply it a little lighter. I'm gonna take this brown shade down here called Box of Chocolates on an angled brush, and I'm gonna spray it. Hopefully this way I can create a little wing. Yeah, you can definitely see it. It's not that much darker than the purple shade, but it does stand out. Gonna try to darken it a little bit. This is definitely as deep as it gets. I've tried to build it like 3 times. It still works, so I'm not super disappointed. Gonna run that same brown on the lower lash as well, just to tie things together. And lastly, I'm just reinforcing that white shade on the inner corner. And this is how the eye looks. I'm gonna finish the other one off camera, and I'll be right back. The eyes are done, I added some mascara, and now let's move on to the blush. So between these 3, I think I'm gonna use the shade I'm Yours, because I feel like it's the one that goes with the look the most. I don't think the brush is the way to go, but I'm gonna give it a try, and I'm going to pick up a little bit with it, if anything even picks up. Alright, I think some is on here. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so in the beginning, it does apply super patchy, but once you blend it, I don't think it looks that bad. Probably because of the powdery texture, it just turns from cream to powder almost instantly. Gonna apply it on the other side. I am definitely super blushy, and I'm not used to seeing this much blush on me, so I'm gonna use a sponge to tone it down, but first I'm gonna add some on my nose. Like ever so slightly. Yeah, that's about enough. Toning it down definitely helped. I feel like I don't look as blushed up as I did. So now for the lipsticks, I really wanted to use the reds, but they just don't go with this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the reds on a short, because I'm dying to use that red gloss and the red lipstick together. I think that's gonna look really nice, but for this look, I'm gonna go with the shade Cherish You, which was the more rosier one. It's quite creamy, and the shape of it doesn't really let you have a precise application, so you do have to be really careful or use a lip liner. It did dry down to matte though, which is so cool, because it turns creamy and then it goes back to matte. I don't know how it did that, but this whole collection is just awesome. But yeah, this is the shade Cherish You on the lips. And to end the video, I'm gonna use the shade Amor, which is only fitting. And here's the final look. I actually really like how it turned out, but I'm looking forward to the reds. But anyway, you guys, that was the full Ember Rose SHEGLAM collection. Overall, I really enjoyed it. SHEGLAM just does such a great job. Like, I'm not paid to say this, by the way. I am not sponsored in any way, of course, because my channel is micro, but I do really feel like they put a lot of thought into what they're selling. And that's something a lot of brands don't do. So for that alone and for the experience, I really like this. Plus it's so affordable. In my opinion, it's just a good quality for a good price. So for that, I do recommend it. A little quick recap about everything, started with the blushes. The formula itself was really cool because it wasn't a straight powder, it wasn't a cream, it was like a hybrid. And I was able to apply it with a brush, which I like, but these are very pigmented, so you do need to be careful. Besides that though, I really like the colors and I think they're a good purchase, so I would buy these again. This palette or quad, would I have bought it if not for the video? No. Like I said, I like shimmers in my palettes. This doesn't have a shimmer, so that's like an automatic no for me, but the formula itself was really nice. Like, as you can see, it blended really well. There isn't one shade in here that I dislike, so I'm glad to have it and I will definitely do more looks with it. It's totally up to you. If you like these colors and you just go through them really fast, maybe this is worth it. These lipsticks, the packaging just blew me away. The fact that it's not even a standard packaging that they can get. It's just like dedication. They wanted to make something new and they did it. And the colors are all colors that I would wear even if with a darker lip liner. So I will get use out of all of these and I don't regret them. So if you need these colors, if you don't have them already, which probably you do, but if you don't, I love the formula and it's a cream to matte formula. And lastly, for the glosses, as you've probably heard me say a lot of times by now if you've seen my other videos, I'm not a gloss girl. I don't enjoy glosses that much. I'm more of like a liquid, I just prefer matte, okay? I don't know what's wrong with me, I just do. But as long as glosses go, I like this formula. It's not sticky, by the way. Like, my lips don't stick together. It feels more of an oil than a gloss, which is very strange because this is not a lip oil. Not as thin as a lip oil, but definitely not as thick and gloopy as a lip gloss. So all in all, if you like that type of gloss, you will like these because they're very pigmented. And even though I'm not a gloss girl, I will get use out of these, don't worry. Also, this little flower, I don't think you can buy it individually. It just comes in the set, so... But it's like a nice touch. Like I said, I will keep it, so I like this. And that was the whole collection done. And that is all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you stuck around, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment, because all those things really help me out. And I have a lot more videos coming, so if you want to see more, please subscribe. I hope you stay safe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!